Today I'm going to create a hardware channel strip using the Fredenstein Bento 8 500 series chassis, and I have some Fredenstein modules here. I have the Mic Pre Plus, the Artistic EQ, and the Artistic Leveler, which is an optical compressor. And a 500 series rack is a great way to add analog gear into your home studio because you can fit more into a smaller space, and the 500 series modules are typically much more affordable than the standalone units. And if you want the latest pricing on any of this gear that I'm going to be featuring in the video, be sure to visit Sweetwater. They have all of the Fredenstein 500 series gear, plus they have many other 500 series modules and chassis over there, and they offer a flexible payment plan if you should need that. So big thank you to Sweetwater for sending this stuff over for me to check out. Now, first, let's have a look at the Fredenstein Bento 8 chassis. When you're getting started with 500 series gear, you need a 500 series chassis, and the Fredenstein Bento 8 is solid. This thing actually weighs quite a bit. It's built really solid. And then on the back here, they make it easy to connect because they use XLR connectors. So you just need XLR cables. And another nice feature is they have this ground lift that you can turn on and off right there. If you have two mono modules, like maybe two EQs or two compressors, and you want to link them together to be stereo, they have that option here. You can just flick that switch and two side-by-side modules can become a stereo pair. And another really nice thing with this one is you can have modules link into each other, which is what we're going to do with our channel strip. So I can have one link into the other, and then that one's going to link into the next one. And then we go out to our audio interface, or you can have them work individually, and maybe you can use them as an effect in your DAW if you wanted to. So that's the Fredenstein Bento 8 chassis. It can handle 8 modules in there, and they have smaller chassis and they have larger ones as well. So you can find one that fits your needs. Now let's have a look at the Mic Pre. Now before I get these modules installed, I just want to quickly show you what they look like outside of the chassis. So this is the Mic Pre Plus here, and you can see it has this Op A2 op amp in there, and this is actually replaceable. So if you have another op amp that you want to put in there, this comes out very easily and you can put the other one in, and actually all of the modules have the same Op A2 op amp in them. So yeah, that's what these look like on the outside. I'm going to get them inserted and then we'll go over each one and give them a listen. All right, so I have all 3 of the modules installed into the Bento 8, and before we record, I just want to talk about each of the modules individually very quickly so you know what each one is. And the first one is the Fredenstein Artistic Mic Pre Plus. And one of the cool features about this Mic Pre is that it has this color knob on there, and this is going to add some nice analog saturation into your signal. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward Mic Pre. You have a polarity switch on there, a minus 20 dB pad, you have a low Z button, and you also have your 48 volt phantom power button on there. Then also on the front you have a DI input. So if you have the input of the Mic Pre at the back of the unit connected to a patch bay or something else, once you plug something into the DI on the front, that takes over. All right, so the next module is the Fredenstein Artistic EQ, and it may look like just a straightforward 3-band EQ, but it does have this color switch on there, and you can play around with that, and it does make this a much more versatile EQ than just a standard 3-band EQ. Now the high frequency band goes from 2 kilohertz up to 20 kilohertz. The mid band goes from 300 hertz up to 3000 hertz. And then the low band goes from 30 hertz to 300 hertz. And you can increase or attenuate each of these bands by 14 dB. Now let's check out the Fredenstein Artistic Leveler module. And this is an optical compressor. It's very easy to use. It has a fixed threshold. So to control the compression, you just need to increase or decrease the input knob. And you can change the ratio with the control that's titled RAT. And then you have a control for the release and a control for the output to do your gain matching. The attack on this one can be adjusted with a 3-way toggle switch. Basically, you have a fast, mid, and slower attack that you can choose from. There's also an onboard sidechain filter that you can adjust, and if your chassis has an aux input, you can use an external sidechain for it as well. And then you have your nice bright gain reduction LEDs there, so you can see how much gain reduction you're doing. So that's a very brief overview of each of these modules. I'm going to grab my bass guitar and we'll start doing some recording so we can hear what it sounds like. But before we record, I just want to remind you that Sweetwater has an incredible selection of 500 series modules and chassis, just like these Fredenstein products here. The prices are competitive, and a lot of times you can find this stuff on sale over there. And if you're a little worried about what you might need in order to use this stuff or any recording gear for your home studio, you can contact one of their sales engineers and they will guide you through the whole process to make sure that what you get will work with your existing gear or what gear you might need to get in order to use what you want to purchase. For instruments and studio gear, be sure to visit Sweetwater. All right, so I have my bass guitar connected. I have a little bit of a sound dialed in on our channel strip, so let's check out what this sounds like. Alright, so that's not too bad right there. It's a little something extra over just recording through a DI. It gives you a little bit of character, but let's give it some more character by dialing in this color knob here. So let's hear what this sounds like now. All right, so now I'm going to enable the color on the EQ, and I'm just going to disable the color on the mic preamp. We'll flick that little switch there and hear what this sounds like. All right, that's pretty cool right there. I like it on. Yeah, it adds a lot of character to the bass guitar. I definitely would record bass guitar with that EQ color on, and maybe even dial in some more from the mic pre. I like it. I like to have a little bit of a dirtier bass guitar on my track, so this really fits in. Now let's just disable the leveler, and we'll hear just with the EQ and the mic preamp on. All right, now I'm going to disable the EQ, and this is just through the mic pre. All right, we'll enable that EQ. Yes, I definitely like that EQ enabled. We'll turn the artistic leveler back on. It brings lots of character to this DI'd bass guitar sound. So before you even start mixing, you've got a little bit of character on your bass guitar, and that's just going to make your mixing process that much easier. And you could record everything through this, your vocals, your bass, your guitar, whatever, and you can dial in your EQ to suit whatever you need. And that way, when you get to the mixing stage, most of the work's already done for you. All right, now let's try our Fredenstein channel strip in our DAW, similar to how we would use an effect plugin in the DAW. And I have it set up on an acoustic guitar track right now, so let's just give it a listen on and off so you can hear the difference. You can definitely hear a big difference when it's enabled. Now let's just play around with turning the EQ off and the leveler off so we can hear what it sounds like with just a couple of things enabled. So yeah, there's a difference when each thing is enabled and disabled. Now I'm just going to play back the acoustic guitar and we'll play around with the EQ a bit so you can hear what that sounds like. So yeah, that EQ is really nice. That color switch gives it a little bit of versatility. If you want to take your virtual instruments that completely exist in the digital realm and you want to add some analog goodness to them, you can run it through this, get some analog sound on there. And to use this as a plugin in your DAW, you're going to need an audio interface with at least 4 outputs. So the first 2 outputs are your stereo. That's what you're going to listen back to your entire mix on. And then the other outputs you can route effects through and things like that. And the one that I'm using is the Presonus 1824C. It's an excellent audio interface. If you want more information on that, click the video on the screen. I really recommend checking it out. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating. Fist bump. Thumbs up.